Back to Forever United TV. Lots of stories to get through this evening to keep you completely updated around Manchester United. We're talking the truth behind the Ruben Amorim situation at Manchester United right now. What is happening? What's true? What's not? What stories are actually genuine out there? Who's in the frame to take his job if he's sacked and who's not? The payoff situation. I'm going to put a little bit of an end, I hope, to that as well, with stories and stuff that I have checked up on today also for you. A lot with all of the other news from Manchester United today. Get into the comment section as well, everybody. Give me your thoughts. I will, at the end of the show, bring up your comments. Like I said earlier on today from the video around what Wayne Rooney said earlier on today about the situation with United. I'm going to bring up some of your comments from that show as well earlier on. I did post that out and saying I will bring up some of the comments. We'll do that later on in the show. But first of all, what is genuine, what's not, what's real, what's not around the Ruben Amorim situation at Manchester United? There is a load of different stories going around this afternoon, in particular about the situation with Ruben Amorim. It all really started just after we finished live this morning. Wayne Rooney's video went out earlier on, and then bang, every journalist around Manchester United started talking about what was actually going on. Some going as far as to say that Manchester United called, and the bosses of Manchester United called Ruben Amorim in for an emergency meeting to tell him he needed to change. Not true, according to our man on the ground, Sully Talks. And he has already backed up that and already gone back in on the person that did tweet that out earlier on to say that is false. So completely happy with bringing it out today. In fact, I have had a conversation with Sully today, and we have talked about some of the stuff that he put out earlier on this week around the situation in Manchester United and whatever people have been saying, and his thoughts on this and what he has been told by people in and around Manchester United and sources at the club. He's giving me a bit of a lowdown on everything, fully backing himself up on what has been said on this as well. So let's get into the actual news around this so-called story about this meeting between bosses of Manchester United and Ruben Amorim at the moment. You may have seen tweets going out earlier on today from ESPN and Rob Dawson talking about the situation around Ruben Amorim, also talking about the possibility that he might not be in charge for much longer. He is going to be in charge for the game this weekend against Sunderland. He's preparing as normal, and there is no conversation about Ruben Amorim leaving this week. So that has been put to bed. He is going to be in the dugout this weekend for the Sunderland game. Manchester United leading into this have had a training day, a family training day, and then an off day. So really right now what we're looking at here is that Ruben Amorim is still in situ and continuing his week. The stories about the emergency meeting are false. That has not happened at all. But there is serious concerns in and around Manchester United. And Sully was telling me earlier on that this is genuine, and there are concerns around what he is doing, his demeanour, and how he just seems to be completely deflated in terms of how he started out at Manchester United compared to where he is right now. Them stories are already out there, and we've already spoken about them at all. But just to add a little bit of clarity to it, he has doubled down on this and said Ruben Amorim actually comes into training, comes in, does his workouts. He used to be, like Sully said in these tweets, he used to be buoyant. He used to be talking to more people. He speaks to nobody. He speaks to absolutely nobody now at Manchester United when he comes in. And them stories about him walking out, standing and sitting on his own after losses, walking into different parts of the training complex and the training ground when things are going on, deep in his own thoughts. These stories are all real and genuine, and it is a big concern for Manchester United now. It is. There is lots of different stories flying around that aren't true, but these ones are probably the most relevant and important ones to everyone. Like we've been speaking about, it doesn't look like there is any kind of connection with anyone at Manchester United around that first team at the moment. You're hearing stories come out that Ruben Amorim is isolated and isolating himself from the rest of the team. He's not a happy man. His whole demeanour and everything that's going on right now at Manchester United is one of a defeatist, and it doesn't look like he has any idea of any ideas of how to change anything at Manchester United. In fact, I was told by Sully that even this week alone, after the result against Brentford, he has once again doubled down on his process and his system. he is not going to change. It's a matter of when, not if, for Ruben Amorim, because it is not going to work for him, and we are going to get the same results continuously over and over again. The conversation I had with him was they just cannot believe it. At Manchester United right now, they're baffled as to why Ruben is persisting with his system, why he feels like it is going to work when it's clearly not worked before. At the timescale of things. Also, on top of this, the news going around about Manchester United's 12 million payoff, and all of a sudden, if he gets to November the 1st, that it drops down dramatically. Now, this was run, I was told, by the Daily Mail after the Manchester derby, and that's factual, obviously, because that's out in the public domain. So they were running the story that there is a 12 million payoff for Ruben Amorim if Ineos are to get rid of him now. Why would that, I was just told, why would that dramatically drop down to about 4 million all of a sudden in the space of a few days? Like 1 year on, it doesn't necessarily mean that it drops from that much to that much. The whole story that's been put together, one source has said from Manchester United, just is not true anyway. So there is a lot of fabrication, there's a lot of let's just say sensationalization. Oh, God, that was big for me, that one. And going on right now with the situation and the stories that are flying around. Again, I've said this all along. In fact, the story that went out about the meeting that was apparently called in, even though the players and the manager weren't there. Look, nobody knows. Like, Ruben might have been summoned in somewhere else to a meeting. I got no idea. Really, honestly, I don't care right now. It just seems like someone was probably listening to my show earlier on and then came up with a story, because I was talking about why is the sporting director, Jason Wilcox, not getting involved in this and everything that's going on right now about Manchester United. Surely they're watching the same thing that we are. And I think it's just a story made up simply because it's inevitable and it's clear for everyone to see. It's clear that we need to make changes, and someone needs to guide Ruben as well in this. This is his first time in England, his first time in the hardest league in world football, and he's sinking fast. He's sinking like the Titanic right now, and there's no hope for him at all if he sticks to the system. So why is nobody within his group or within that management team not talking to Ruben Amorim? They're not going to tell him to change. They cannot do that. They've invested in him to work the way he needs to work, bringing his staff. So why would Ruben all of a sudden listen? And it kind of makes you feel like it's a baloney story anyway, just the fact that they've said that he has to play 4-3-3. Oh, come on. I mean, seriously? Like, we all know that he should be playing 4-3-3, but why would we believe a story that says that he's all of a sudden been told to change shape and do it this way? If they're backing him, they're backing what he wants to do. They're not going to back him because they've said that he needs to change to a 4-3-3 like they know better than Ruben Amorim. This is why they employed him in the first place, because they feel like he's the right man. So, again, they're not going to tell him to change. Someone could advise him and just say and make a suggestion and have a conversation with him. Look, if it doesn't change playing this shape, Ruben, what are you thinking? Because it's not going to last. And to be honest, in all of this, I think Ruben Amorim has alluded to his time at Manchester United and how short it might be if things don't start picking up. In fact, it was him who actually said that results and wins are going to be the only thing that gives him the time to actually show what he can do at Manchester United. So he knows his time is up at United. He knows that if these players cannot play this system, which they've proved they can't consistently, then he's gone. He's gone. He's sacked. No one at Manchester United inside is going to convince Ruben that he's going to change. And the biggest thing that came out of my conversations today was that Ruben Amorim, again, and this is the same as it was after the Manchester City game, it's the same now as it was after Brentford this weekend, he won't change. He will never change. And it's always going to be this way. So, again, this is why I find it difficult to back him, because he isn't willing to change it up and adapt. We've said this all through the weekend. But, again, the news that he's not going to, even with the disaster class that was Brentford, kind of puts us even a further step back right now, and it starts to worry us even more, because he really is stubbornly just driving himself off the cliff now. And again, that clarification that I got today gives me no hope whatsoever for him going forward. Not one bit. His demeanour, the way that he is at the club, the defeatist attitude, the isolation, the not talking to anybody, the lonely figure, all true. The story about him being told to change, not true. But the first bit, the way that he is and everything that he's going on at United and the way he acts, that's a bigger concern for me than anything anyway, because it doesn't look like a man that can command these players, that can turn this around. The whole look of a manager and the way that Ruben is right now just shouts out, we are done. And the players are probably picking up off them vibes as well. And that, I honestly feel, there's only him that can change that. He is very, very strict. He is very, very open about his desire to play his way. And there's nobody at Manchester United that's going to convince Ruben. In fact, if someone came up to Ruben, I would say this right now. If someone from Manchester United's hierarchy came up to Ruben and told him, you've got to change, otherwise you're sacked, he'd walk out the door. I think he's that type of man. He's got that integrity. He would just walk. He has already said that he'd walk with no compensation. Look, if it gets to a point where Manchester United are heading into the necessary games coming up in the next group of internationals, with Ruben in situ, just expect the same stuff to happen again. Nothing has changed at Manchester United. Nothing at all. In fact, what I was told today was that they are actually hoping that they will be able to see out the next few weeks. In fact, getting into November's international break before making the call. It's got nothing to do with compensation. It is purely down to Manchester United now actually being on the hunt for another manager. They want a big name, and this is where it gets even more interesting right now. Just to give you all of this news straight out the box here at the start of the show. They would want a bigger name and a permanent manager, but this is what I have been told today. There is still a chance that Manchester United could go for an interim manager. Carrick might get the job. Someone like that to see United through until United can get the perfect manager. They realistically don't have a plan B, is what I'm being told. And they are looking for time right now to get it. I find it fascinating our team and a club like United haven't got people lined up. But they are now working very, very fast, apparently, to be ready for this. So this is where we're at right now with Ruben Amorim. He is on the brink and is preparing for Sunderland. Even if they beat Sunderland, the search continues because it's like they already know what is coming. All right, so we're going to get into the comment section on this and give me your thoughts and get your thoughts in first of all before we move on to the next stories. Change the man. Yeah, well, this is the thing. On this quickly, just to back up what Sully said earlier on as well, when going in on the report about Ruben Amorim being, let's just say, Ruben Amorim being told he needs to change. Ruben Amorim, and Sully said this in his reply to this tweet, Sully actually said and retweeted what he said before. Ruben, in quotes, you will have to change the man before we change the system. No one's going to convince him to change the system. You will have to change the man. So this is why everybody's looking at the new man coming in. Because Ruben said it, and he's doubled down on not changing. So what Sully is saying here is there is no chance that Ruben is going to be told by Manchester United figures to change. He won't do it. And so that was a big load of crap. But again, reiterating what has already been said and is factual because it's come out of the horse's mouth himself. I won't change the system. If you're going to change the system, you have to change the man. And that quote still rings very, very true to this day. That's why we're talking about Ruben leaving. It's not like I want Ruben out of the door. And again, I keep on saying this and having to say this. I'm not driving the negative. We're United fans who are very, very concerned where this club is going right now. And Ruben, like I said, he's driving that bus over a cliff. He is stubbornly going to continue with everything that he wants to do and believes in at the moment. And that is where we're at with it. There's no change coming at all. We have got updates on the players and their side of things on this as well. So I'm going to get into that in a minute after your comments, everybody. So get into the chat, please. This is your chance now. First of all, let's just run through a couple of super chats. Robbie's put 3 of them in there actually now. And maybe he has to be ordered to go to 4-3-3. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen. Unfortunately, it hasn't happened either at United. If Ruben wants out, he should walk. Might happen, Robbie. We will see in time. No to an interim manager right now, he also says. It's so much effort being a United fan right now, says Daniel Longbottom. Thanks for renewing that that membership as well, Daniel. Really appreciate that, buddy. Thank you for the super chats, Robbie, as well there. Let's get into some more of your thoughts on this, everyone, and what you thought of everything that I have just said there. We've also got a new poll up as well. Will Ruben make it to the next... sorry, it's gone off my screen. Will he make it to the next international break? So he has to get through Sunderland. He has to get through Liverpool, Brighton, Forest and Spurs before the November international break. Can he make it through them 5 games? Into the live chat, into that poll, please, everybody. Get voting on that. At the moment, as it stands on that one, 54% of you think, yes, he will. Wow, I told you. This is what happens. A few days after the game, people start to calm down a little bit and the emotion runs out. And because there's nothing else going on, people start to believe that he can survive and actually turn this around again. And then you start to obviously look at it from my side of things. I don't think it will, but I look at it as well, and I could gauge, since I just said that, anyway, people are voting the other way now, and it's going the opposite way. So I'll just shut up and be quiet while people make their votes. But yeah, very, very... hello to Jan as well in the chats, everybody. Jan is back in the house. Good to have you back, Jan. And... yeah, just going back to what I said there. Literally, as soon as I mentioned people saying Ruben can survive to the next international break, everyone else has been voted in. Yes. Is it simply because Ineos like Ruben Amorim? That's another one there from Kaz that's just come in also. Galvatron says, people saying a different system hasn't worked under different managers. Dalit, Yoro, Dargu, Heaven, Agate, Ahmad, Xerxes, Kunya and Bumo. None of these players have been tried in a different system. You could say that. You could say that. Again, there is a lot of new players at Manchester United that really haven't got the bad habits just yet. They're being dragged down with what's already there. And that has been proven with our signings so far this season. Our new signings from the summer are all really out on their arse, struggling right now. Baffled, bewildered, and have no idea what is going on right now. This is the mighty Manchester United. How can we be this bad? Well, yeah, welcome. Welcome to the real world, and the reality of Manchester United is what the fan base is saying right now. Your career could be over if you stay here. That's what it feels like right now, with everybody in and around Manchester United, particularly the manager anyway. Right, more comments coming in, everybody. Shaheen says with a super chat, thank you, mate. How do you feel about Xavi? Now, in fact, let's go on to that story as well, because Xavi apparently, and there is a Sports Witness story going around as well, and then a Deportivo from Spain going around as well. Apparently, Xavi has turned down a Saudi Pro League because he wants to wait for Manchester United. Now, this is off the back of what Romano also said yesterday about Xavi learning about the Premier League. I'm going to say this again. I am. I don't want Xavi because I think it will be a waste of time. Xavi, if you had the right players, then I might be interested. But Xavi, with the midfield that we have got and the players that we have got, I just don't think it fits. And when we did a calling show last night, we were basically talking about how Manchester United's midfield is compared to the ones of Barcelona of the past. It just does not work, does it? It doesn't work. It doesn't even collaborate at all. You cannot have that same system with Manchester United's team right now. So the story about Xavi, honestly, I think it's just there because he's a free agent right now. He's in with nobody. He is an option for every single club, and of course you're going to get some multiple rumours about Xavi because he's an alright manager. He's won trophies for Barcelona, but again, he's just there because Manchester United are struggling, and he hasn't got a club right now. That's it. I don't think there's anything real in the Xavi story whatsoever. I really don't. And I don't think Manchester United will be going for him. I don't... Look, if you've got any sense, and right now Manchester United do have football people at the club. If they get rid of Ruben Amorim, they are going to see that Manchester United don't have the right calibre of player at this club to play a Xavi-type football. Wilcox is not stupid. He knows his stuff, and he will know that Xavi doesn't fit the current squad. And if he comes in, it could be another expensive mistake for Ineos. And he's putting his reputation on the line here, Because also Jim Ratcliffe is going to do is go to his people. He's going to go to Omar Barada and Jason Wilcox and say, what do we think, lads? I've employed you and I'm paying you the world to get Manchester United up and running again. I've got to trust you. Do you think Wilcox and Barada are going to say, yes, Xavi's going to fit perfectly into this squad of players right now? No, he's not. He really isn't. And it is a non-starter of a story. It really is. So don't get carried away by it and don't get excited by it. Xavi will not be a Manchester United manager anytime soon. And to be honest, I wouldn't take him either. I really wouldn't. Ruben Amorim's future remains uncertain. Just running through some of the latest news and stories floating around. His job is in jeopardy, but not tied to results. No single losses that will trigger a sacking. Ineos hold full control. They could decide tomorrow, next month, or next year. Sources stress his position hasn't been tinted by recent performances. The instability comes from long-term direction, not short-term form. For now, Amorim stays. Situation fluid, nothing imminent, but nothing ruled out. That to me spells exactly what we were talking about before. Ineos preparing to get rid of him. But the results cannot continue. When you have been a year in and it's just got so bad, and the man you've employed isn't willing to even look at doing something different, he will be sacked. It's the same in any walk of life, industry, business, whichever way you look at it. If the problem is him, which it clearly is right now, and he won't change, then somebody else will come in. It's inevitable. Nothing else is going to change Ineos' mind from getting rid of Ruben Amorim. It is just going to be what it is, I'm afraid. That's it. Right, so let's get into some more of your comments coming in. I see lots of people dropping into the chat right now. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the super chats. Let's quickly just run through them. Again, Robbie is back in. Ruben is not experienced enough as a head coach. He's just been in Portugal, you could say. Cheers for that, Robbie. Sean says, I'm wondering if the size of the job has broken him and he genuinely doesn't know what to do now. It's just what it looks like, mate, doesn't it? It does, doesn't it? Genuine question, says Andrew. Why do people think a 4-3-3 with the same midfield options that Ten Hag had sacked now think it will miraculously work 12 months later? Well, you've got a better forward line in front of it that are actually going to put them chances away. And you are going to get the better out of your best players. The front three are still going to operate in that front three. And you're going to be able to play Bruno, you're able to play Casemiro, and you're able to play Kobbie Mainoo. You add security there as well. It fits the players. And by the way, yes, Patrick Dorgu, who has yet to play in a back four, normally can play in a back four. You can bring Mazraoui back in at right back and play him in his natural position. And you can have your best two centre-backs out of the pick of 6 others in the middle there with Senna Lammens behind. It would work. I would tend to move towards, instead of the 4-3-3, Andrew, to the adapted 4-3-3, which is the 4-2-1-3 or the 4-2-3-1 type situation. That's how I would look at it. That's adaptable in a few different ways. But I do think the players we've got in the forward line, they've got better goalkeeper as well for Manchester United, will work better with that system. I think there is creativity and stability in that midfield then. And you've got freedom for your flair players to do what they've got to do. Bruno will get up, Bruno will get back, but you're always going to have Mainoo, you're always going to have Casemiro there as well. You're always going to have a stable back four and no room down the wings like we've had in recent games. So, yes, I do think it would work, mate, just to answer that one, Andrew. But Graham says, if United appoint an interim who is the backroom staff, Amorim staff will leave with him. That just comes with the territory, mate, doesn't it? Every time an interim comes in. I don't know, Graham. At the moment, nobody knows what the right answer is. In fact, Glasner today was actually speaking and talking about the rumours about the Manchester United. He didn't shut them down, by the way, Glasner. He just said he's fully concentrated on his squad and his options going forward, and that's it. He's not bothered about anything else right now, as you wouldn't be. You are in the Champions League places, the only team unbeaten in the Premier League right now, and about to embark on Crystal Palace's first ever European campaign. Why would you be thinking about anything else? A Glasner, an Iraola, I feel, are a little bit out of reach for Manchester United now, and they could be looking to come in probably at the end of the season. Look, I would prefer to bring in a permanent manager now as well if we can get him. But if we can't, then it's tough. It is. Still, even though I said the other day on that permanent manager, I don't know who you would bring in, because I don't think that manager is going to be given the time and the patience to completely change everything that Ruben's been trying to build. For instance, Iriola's got to come in and change his whole philosophy into Manchester United, and they've got to change again. Can they do it? Ruben just tried to do that and completely convince these players that this system was right, and it's failed. Are we going to get the same scenario again, and then another manager falls down because the season is a complete disaster? That's my concern with the permanent manager. It has to be someone who's going to come in and work with the players that we've got in their best positions and utilise that at least, and work his way into a pre-season where he can then do a little bit of extra work with this team going forward. It is a big, big concern of mine. It is. Cheers for the super chats, Sean, Andrew and Graham, and another one there from Robbie again at the end. He has about 5 years experience as a head coach. Maybe, again, like a lot of people have been saying, is the job too big for Ruben Amorim? Has he found it too big? That's, again, he did not anticipate what this was. Will Ruben make it to the next international break? Question mark. 51% of you so far have said yes. That is I don't know where you're getting that confidence from, to be honest. But again, certain decisions that will always put doubt into the fan base's minds with Ruben Amorim, like Bayende. His shot percentage ratio, save percentage is the worst in the league. He keeps playing him. If he plays the same team again this weekend and United lose, I don't think there's anyone in this fan base backing him. Not one person is going to be backing Ruben Amorim if he plays that same team again and it loses. If he plays the same team again and he gets the result, then questions are going to be asked straight away. And it's going to be, well, why are you turning up at Old Trafford but you're not turning up away from home? This isn't the get out of jail card Old Trafford scenario anymore. You have to win away and at home. And the fact that Manchester United have got 3 away games coming up in the next block of games really concerns me. And again, that's where I think that we will come unstuck with Ruben Amorim in there as well. I mean, when you look at it, like Kaz says, I voted yes on the poll. I think he will see it out until the next... and by the way, we're not talking about the international break coming now. I think, don't get me wrong, I don't think Manchester United have got their man lined up yet. I think they're still working on it. If they can get someone ready and in the October international break, then I think they'll go for it. If he wins against Sunderland, you've got no chance of that happening. If he loses against Sunderland, I think I'm with Gary Neville on this. If he loses Saturday, then I think Ruben's done. I don't see him surviving that. I can't. Because we know we're going to lose to Liverpool, and I've said this before, and that'll be 3 games in a row. So, yeah, I don't see it coming to that. Again, and going into that poll, it's not about what you want to happen, it's what you think will happen. Again, I think that's why the poll has been so close, because nobody is fully convinced that Ineos want to get rid of him. Ineos do like Ruben Amorim, and Sir Jim Ratcliffe, like we've been saying the last 2 days, is a massive admirer of Ruben Amorim. So that's where we're at with this situation now. It's a tough one, simple as. And it's going to be hard for Manchester United fans, again, to let another manager go. But this is on him, like nobody else. This is on him. Another story that's doing the rounds. And again, this just adds to the problems that are going on right now. Samuel Luckhurst, again, with the doom and gloom news around Manchester United. Manchester United players are shocked by their rapid decline this season, with dressing room sources saying morale dropped further after the Brentford loss. No shit. Like, seriously, honestly, if that was me in that dressing room, I'd feel completely deflated and on my arse right now. I've just been beaten again by Brentford, a team that United just cannot beat away from home, it would seem. That's 4 in a row now with no win for United. That is 3 losses and 1 draw for United in total in the last 4 games against Brentford now. It is appalling from Manchester United. It really is. And if I'm a United player in that dressing room right now, I'm on my arse, yes. And morale will be low. It's a defeat. It is demoralising. But again, this is just another journalist jumping in on the negative that's happening right now. Manchester United feel deflated. Let's write up a full story about that. Really, I think everybody already knows that. And you can see that in the body language of these players. You could see it on Saturday. But then again, the bigger picture in all of this is it's like we don't care about the body language of the players. We don't care how flat they are. We don't care how low morale is right now. No one cares about that story. All we care about is how these players turn it around and get results on the pitch. So I'm not going to go into a big thing about how the players are so low. We can see it because they're not winning games anyway. But yes, I would be shocked if them players were upbeat, let's just say, in this situation where we're at right now. Like, seriously, like, what do you expect? It's ridiculous. Interesting how the story was put to bed regarding the compensation situation as well. And that will be completely put to bed if Ruben Amorim is indeed sacked after the Sunderland game, because that obviously will be before the November international break. So keep an eye on that one. Can United afford to lose the next 5 games, which is highly, highly likely looking at the fixtures? Best case scenario is we beat Sunderland, get through this international break, and then we probably lose all 4 of the next 4 games going off form. Unless that morale, that team spirit, that understanding of what Ruben wants, and all of a sudden these players turning from very average, overpaid players into players that are actually worth their wage and good enough to wear that shirt turn up on the pitch. Which do you think is going to happen from what you've seen so far? Again, that's why I have zero confidence in what is going on. So yes, just to recap on where we're at so far, the story around Ruben Amorim being told he has to change by Manchester United's hierarchy is complete and utter BS. He's not. It's changed the man. Otherwise, if you're changing the system, it's changing the man. And that will be the end of Ruben. He's already come out and said that. So don't believe any story with people telling you that the system is being forced upon Ruben Amorim. That is not happening. The compensation story isn't quite all it seems to be. Some sources saying that that is not true. We will see if Ruben is sacked this week if we lose to Sunderland. It's going to be difficult for them to back up Ruben Amorim if he has just lost 2 in a row with Liverpool away coming up. It is. But then again, would they want to bring in a new manager or come in with Liverpool? Maybe let Ruben take that one and then move on to a new manager. Look, I don't believe in that stuff anyway. I think a manager comes in, he's just got to take it when the time is there. And the time will be now for a new man to come in. You need to start getting something out of these players very, very quickly. So that is there. The players' form, they can't believe. Well, we can. We've seen it last season, lads. You shouldn't be surprised. You let this fan base down last season. You're doing it again this season. So, yeah, in terms of that story, don't care. Sort it out. Get to grips with yourself. If that is true, that is. And, yeah, Ruben is planning ahead for the Sunderland game this weekend. He's not going to be sacked this week. So we've got to go through that again this weekend, everybody. And Glasner has not said no to United. He hasn't played down the talks. He's just sidestepped them when in his press conference today. And Xavi, right now, the stories are there, but I don't think there is anything genuine in it right now. Manchester United don't have Xavi on their list, right at the top of their list, let's just say. There isn't enough there. That may change, though. I'm not ruling Xavi out. There's just nothing there right now. And that is the same for Gareth Southgate also. He is an option, but he is not being talked to like the stories have reported this weekend, which scared us all half to death. Southgate isn't being spoken to at the moment. That's another one that is a definite right now. Okay. Carrick, though. Would you be happy with Carrick, by the way, if Carrick came in? Just get into the comment section on this now, please, everybody, because it is... I think it'll divide opinion, to be honest. I really do. I don't think there'll be many people fully impressed with it. So I think there'll be some that understand the situation. Some people might actually be all right with Michael Carrick coming in as Manchester United's interim manager till the end of the season. Look, I don't think it is... I think we'll probably get a better results out of Michael Carrick than we will Ruben Amorim anyway. That's all I'll say. I think fans just want to see the right players in their positions and see where the chips fall. be able to judge the players properly, Steve, I think is involved in that as well, mate. Because if Ruben does play these players in their right positions, then maybe we will get a chance to judge them players properly and give Ruben a bit of a break because the players are letting him down. But right now we know that Dalot is not a wing-back. We know that Dorgu isn't a natural wing-back. He's a full-back. Both were full-backs when they came to Manchester United from their previous clubs. Yes, they may have had characteristics that suited the wing-back, but they have never played there before. So they're in that full-back, wing-back position, They're not their natural positions. So too is Ahmad at wing-back also. Then you've got Bruno Fernandes, who isn't a number 6. He's playing him there. The back three are foreign to the back three system. And then you're throwing in probably one of the worst goalkeepers that we've got while leaving the player that you bought in the transfer window, having got rid of the number 1 Andre Onana, still sat on the bench. Yeah, I would like to see these players do something in them positions. There's no guarantee they will, but at least we can properly judge them and then give Ruben a little bit of leeway because he has tried something new. But all the while he's not, what can we do? There is nothing we can do, I'm afraid. Let's get some more chats in. Graham says, Ineos are not serious about improving if they don't appoint a permanent. They have to take the financial hit. I think they're going to have to take a financial hit either way, mate, on that, because the compensation is going to go for Ruben, and even if it's an interim, you're still going to have to pay it. And in fact, if they do go with an interim, it's going to be more of a financial hit because you're going to have to employ 2 managers. So the financial side of it, Graham, doesn't really come into it that much if it is an interim. They're going to have to pay more. So it is what they want and what their long-term plan is. I like that report just come out then a minute ago, which said it's in the long-term planning. There is nothing definite for now. It's not off the table. It's not on the table. It's up to Ineos right now. If they feel like this isn't going to work for the future, they will change it. Whether or not they've got a long-term replacement in place, that's the $1 million question, isn't it? It really is. So, yes, indeed, we are going to be at that position. And we're going to be, let's just say, all scratching our heads when that sacking does come as to who is going to come in, because I don't think anybody's got any idea right now who is going to be in at Manchester United. Ant says, deflated, ? No, ashamed, pros, ? Laughing emojis all over the chat. Jack Jones says, I think they'll hire an interim till summer. Unfortunately, Ineos will want to bide their time to pick the new coach. They have to get the next one right. And it is a risky one bringing him in the middle of the season, isn't it? That's what you're looking at. Carrick, no thank you, says Robbie as well. So there you go. People are speaking with their comments there. They are not happy about Michael Carrick. Some people would be. I think. We had 1,000 votes on that poll right now. Let me just read it out again. Will Ruben make it to the next international break? 50-50 exactly. That is you giving your opinion on what you think might happen, not what you want to happen right now. 50-50 right now. And yes, don't forget, actually, just a reminder, everybody, please join us after this show. We're going to be doing another one over on Big Up. We're going to do a bit of a breakdown of previous managers and where it actually went wrong. So that is another Big Up special video coming up after this show as well. We may bring a few guests on as well on that if you want to come and have your say on previous managers at Manchester United. We will be doing that straight after this show. I'll drop the link into the live chats for Big Up in just a moment. We have now got the app for Big Up as well, everybody. So easier to listen in and get your notifications. So make sure you get on there and download that right now. Link for the app is in the description also, everybody. I've lost my confidence with Ruben Amorim. Sorry, but he is too stubborn for his own good and is killing us totally. Ineos / Jim Radcliffe, get rid of Ruben before it's too late. We will be relegated. Ooh. I like Glasner a lot, says Carl. I just don't think as a long-term solution, any three at the back is a good idea. Three at the back, however you play, it is a 5 at the back, and that's a boring, and that's too boring to last long term. Too boring to last long term. You could adapt to a 4 at the back still, Glasner. Like there's a manager that might be willing to change. He might be. But yeah, let's just see. Let's just see what happens. Again, nobody knows about the next manager. No one can put any name on anything for definite because Ineos are giving nothing away. Again, like I said at the top of the show, all the conversations I've had today and what people are telling me is that there is nobody lined up just yet. The idea is out there. Like Alex Cook said, United have cast their net in seeing what comes back with managers and who they could possibly get to bring in to replace Amorim. The conversations will be going on 100%. But at the moment, Ruben is in charge for Sunderland. I feel like United will bide their time. And don't forget, every international break, Sir Jim Radcliffe holds that monthly meeting of all the board members at Manchester United. So that is also on the cards as well for next week. Yeah, next couple of weeks now it will be. So let's not forget that. That was what we were looking at last season. Remember, all of the pictures and cameras. Will Ten Hag survive? The meeting in London. Everything that was going on. It's exactly the same time. And he survived that meeting. But then went in the next international window. So that was the key. That was the big one. And United, realistically, right now, don't have anybody lined up. They may have another midfielder lined up, another midfield option. Yes, Conor Gallagher on loan, preferred to Carlos Baleba, some are saying. But Graham Bailey also talking about Ruben Neves as well, being a realistic target for Manchester United. Going as far as to say that they could bring him in on a free transfer in the summer. I had no idea that Ruben Neves' contract had run out. In fact, I'm just going to look this up live now just to see if that story is actually genuine. Let me just check this out. Ruben Neves contract expiry. Let's just see. In fact, I think this is bang on the money. Contract expires for Ruben Neves in June 2026. That man is going to be a free agent at 28. Premier League proven experienced midfielder. United need to be on that now. I don't think they're going to be able to match the wages that the man is on currently right now, though. They are an eye-watering base rate of £286,000 a week right now at Al Hilal, with 43 in bonuses. So Ruben Neves' wages are maxing out at the moment at 333 grand a week. Would you take Ruben Neves, though, if he was willing to come and take that cut price contract? Free transfer, 28 Prem proven player. That for me is a no-brainer as another squad player for Manchester United. At 28, you still got another good 4 years out of Ruben Neves for Manchester United. And Ineos will break their record of signing somebody over the age of 26. Why? Because he's free. Of course, that's why. And it's not going to cost him anything. And there is no damage to the finances and the transfer plan because of that, free agents. So, yeah, Ruben Neves is for United could indeed go in for him in January and get him at a cut price if they wanted an emergency buy in January. But the word so far is that Manchester United are potentially looking at loans because their key targets are not available for January. That being Carlos Baleba, that being the likes of Elliot Anderson and obviously Adam Wharton as well. But right now, Manchester United, in terms of bringing and attracting them players in, the way we're going with Ruben Amorim, it counts for nothing. It really does. We are not going to be anywhere near these players if United are not up there competing. Give it Giggsy till the end of the season. I think I need to get a chat with Andy actually before, just to see how he's doing, to make sure he's actually all right. This will be destroying Andy right now. It really will. Right, let me just get this up for you all so you can come and join us in just a minute. I'm just going to drop a quick link in the live chat right now for everybody to come and join us over on Big Up for our next video. We're going to do a manager special over on Big Up straight after this show, everybody. That is there right now in the live chat for you. Come over. It's completely free, everybody. It's free to sign up. Just another platform where we sometimes do extra videos and extra content and bring people on to have their say. We're going to do a manager special on the show. Super chat in from Brits Abroad. Forget Xavi done nothing as a manager. Forget a bland defensive football with Southgate. For me, there's only one, and that's Glasner. or we stick to Ruben? Ooh, that is a bit of an ask, though, because Glasner's not a definite. I wouldn't just say stick to Ruben. I think an Iriola out there and Unai Emery at the end of the season could definitely be something that United go for. I think Emery is a good shout as well, you know. I don't think you'll get him this season, which is why I've always been talking about the interim manager at Manchester United. I think Emery's managed at 2 massive Premier League clubs already. He's come back. He's successful. He's won European trophies. If you want a man to be able to handle a big football club and have Premier League proven experience, he realistically is the only one. Of course, you can go for the others. They're just as good right now at smaller clubs. But if you want someone with the experience of the Premier League and big clubs, Unai Emery is your man. And Emery with money to spend and backing might actually be a real force for Manchester United. So I think we've got to remember that as well with this next manager that comes in. Has to have that experience in the Premier League. We've tried. It's been tested. The other managers, the best European talent that's out there apparently has come in and failed miserably and set us back even further, and in money and time. Sean says 4-2-1-3 with the new forward line up. New forward line up steadies the ship, in my opinion. Sean, I just said exactly the same thing. I'm completely agreeing with you on that one, mate. It really does. My team would be Delit, Yoro at centre back. I would have Mazraoui at right back. I'd have Dorgu at left back. I'd have Lamens in goal. I'd have Casemiro in front of the back 4 with Bruno and Mainu in front of him. So your 3-man midfield, never overloaded or overcooked. And you could easily have a fullback tucking in there, inverted, to try and help out if necessary to make the numbers up. And then your front 3 takes care of itself. It's Sesko, it's Mbumo, and it's Matthias Cunha. Mount, Zirkzee, Ahmad have to fight for their places in that front 3 somewhere. Simple as that. And all of a sudden, Manchester United have got players who are playing in positions that they should be playing in, and it's different. But don't forget, like we said at the top of the show, once again, from my conversations today, Ruben Amorim is in Carrington and he is telling people, forget it. Nothing is changing. I am not going to change my system. Going back to what he said after the Man City game, if you're going to change the system, you've got to change the man. Not even the Pope is going to change his mind on his system. Remember them words. He is not a man that is going to be convinced by anybody. So any stories about him being told he has to change, forget it. Forget it totally. Cal says, Emery, I agree with and said weeks ago that he'd be a great option. Issue is the fan base won't like him from the get-go. I don't know. I think Emery right now, I think a lot of United fans would actually accept that is an actual sensible decision from Manchester United. Need 5 more XL from OK Jerseys for us big boys. Need 5 or more XL from OK Jerseys. Right, so you need to go sizes up, mates. I'll have a word, Robbie. Let me know. Send me a comment, send me a message over on email or on the social media platforms on a DM in the description. They're right at the bottom there, mate, if you want to hit me up on there. All right. Okay, that is us all done. Don't forget to click on the link. I'm just going to set that show up in just a moment. So if you go on Big Up, just give it a minute. I will get it up and get it ready, and then we will get into that conversation again. Extra content for you all tonight here again on Manchester on FUTV. We're now flying across the Big Up. So again, thank you everybody in the chat. Absolutely amazing. Again, comments coming in to the bone. Most of them, I don't mind that at all. Everyone's opinions is valid. Everyone's opinions is correct. It is just yours. That's what we have here. Football debates on Forever United TV. Not one man's opinion all of the time and being binned off because you don't agree with him. Nope. Everybody's right. Everyone has a say, and that's how it should be in football. At the moment, I think we're all agreeing because we're fed up of losing games at Manchester United. But look, we can hope again. And I'll keep saying that every single show, unfortunately, until I see real improvements. All we have is hope. And all we have is reruns on YouTube of the glory days of Manchester United. Oh, God, is anybody doing that right now? Give the video a like. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. Thank you, mods. Thank you to all the super chats. Amazing again tonight. Absolutely love that. I'll see you on Big Up in just a minute.